Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 14, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, and our topic is Philosophy of History. Hegel's philosophy of history is contained in the lectures that he delivered while he was at Berlin University. He does not attach much importance to the material things. He views them merely as the cumulative result of evolution of absolute idea. Absolute idea is dynamic and ever evolving. It moves forward in search of self realization. This is termed by Hegel as unfolding of the reason. The whole universe is the result of this process of unfolding of reason. In fact, Hegel's philosophy of history is somewhat similar to the Christian theology, which sees history as a pattern of meaningful events, which can be understood in terms of cosmic design. It is unfolding of the reason under God's guidance or as willed by God. The absolute idea moves forward in an evolutionary process. In this evolutionary process, the absolute idea or the spirit takes many forms, discarding the earlier ones and getting newer ones. The first stage in this evolution is the physical or the inorganic world. At this initial stage, the absolute idea or the spirit acquires the form of gross matter. The second stage in this process is the organic world, animals, plants, etc. This stage is an improvement on the earlier stage. The third stage is the evolution of human beings. Each stage is more complicated than the previous stage. The evolution of human beings marks a qualitatively higher stage because the human beings are rational agents, capable of distinguishing between good and bad. The fourth stage marks the evolution of a family system. In addition to rational element, it involves mutual cooperation and accommodations. The fifth stage marks the evolution of civil society. Here, economic interdependence is the main feature in addition to mutual cooperation and accommodation. The last and higher stage witnesses the evolution of the state, which represents a perfect moral order. Hegel argues that family symbolizes unity, civil society symbolizes particularity, and the state symbolizes universality. The unity of the family, particularity of the civil society is realized with the appearance of the state as the actuality of the universal order. Both the family and civil society are to some degree rational, but only the state is perfectly rational and perfectly ethical. In short, the evolutionary process passes through the following stages, and each successive stage is a distinct improvement on the predecessor stages. Inorganic wood, organic world, human beings, family, civil society, state. It should be noted that with the help of the above argument, Hegel tried to solve the basic problem about the relationship between matter and spirit. He did so by arguing that matter is only a manifestation of spirit in its crude form. Matter is not only a negation of spirit, but also the conscious realization of spirit. The second important dimension of Hegel's philosophy of history is the doctrine of historicism. It is difficult to express this doctrine. Broadly speaking, historicism is a doctrine which holds that the whole course of history is predetermined course. The human intervention or human efforts can be effective only if it falls in line with the dialectical direction of the world history. Like the Stoic god, history leads the wise man and drags the fool. The third major dimension of Hegel's philosophy of history is the use of Aristotelian teleology. According to it, everything in the world is moving towards the realization of its end, its true nature. From the point of view of the human actors, history is a union of irony and tragedy. From the point of view of the whole, it is a cyclic. When we look at Hegel's philosophy of history in its totality, we can say that it is an attempt to synthesize Kant's and Herder's philosophies of history. Kant advocated scientific understanding of history, while Herder emphasized the place of feelings and speculation. In this sense, Hegel's philosophy of history is speculative reason. Let us elaborate this point. For fuller understanding of thirst of Hegel's philosophy of history, you must understand that there is philosophical as against empirical history. The historians of later category insist on accurate delineation of facts, which is their paramount concern. The former, on the other hand, are not satisfied with the mere narration of facts and try to provide divination of the meaning and look for the exhibition of reasons working in the sphere of history. They do not feel satisfied by mere reproduction of empirical facts and try to incorporate their knowledge of idea, the articulation of reason. Thus, they alleviate empirical contents to the level of necessary truth. For Hegel, the world history exhibits the development of the consciousness of freedom on the part of spirit. Hegel actually applied his philosophy of history when he says that in the Oriental world there was despotism and slavery, and freedom was confined only to the monarch. But in Greek and Roman civilizations, although slavery was there, yet the citizens enjoyed freedom. In Europe, particularly in Germany, there is emphasis on liberty for all and infinite worth of each individual is recognized. The world history thus consists of a definite stage of progress, Oriental, Greek, Roman, and Germanic. In short, Hegel's philosophy of history consists of two parts. One, the general pattern, and the second, various stages in this general pattern. Finally, Hegel's philosophy of history talks of doctrine of moving forces in historical change. He argues that the reasons great design can be carried out with the help of human passions. Certain great men like Caesar and Alexander are chosen as instruments of destiny. Such men are necessary if the plot of history is to be carried out. This amounts to saying that ideas are important, but there must be willpower to implement them. Next point is theory of a state. The most seminal contribution of Hegel to political philosophy is his theory of state. Like Plato, Hegel is a great system builder. His theory of state is rooted in the axiom what is rational is real and what is real is rational. It means that whatever exists in the world is according to reason, and whatever is according to reason exists. Hegel's theory of state is based on this premise about the gradual unfolding of reason or spirit or absolute idea through a dialectical process. Reason gets its perfect realization in the state. Thus, the state is reason personified. State is rational, state is real. Therefore, what is rational is real. Here, real does not only mean that which is empirical, but that which is fundamental. In fact, Hegel distinguishes between real and that which merely exists. That which merely exists is only momentary and mere surface manifestation of underlying forces, which alone are real. Thus, Hegel sought to bridge the gap between the rational and the real. The real is nothing but the objective manifestation of spirit. This implies that for Hegel, all states are rational insofar as they represent the various states of unfolding of reason. By doing so, he took a conservative position because it tantamounts to saying that whatever happens in manifestation of unfolding of reason, no event ever occurs unless ordained by reason. So every event takes place according to the rational plan. He considered that the state as march of God on earth, or the ultimate embodiment of reason. State for Hegel is the highest manifestation of reason because it emerges as the synthesis of family, that is thesis, and civil society, that is antithesis. Family fulfills man's biological needs, food, sex, and love. It is the first manifestation of spirit, but it cannot fulfill the higher or more complex needs for which he need a civil society. While the basic feature of family is unity based on love, the civil society is necessary for the fulfillment of his competitive self-interest and for the satisfaction of diverse human needs, particularly the economic needs, which the family cannot fulfill. The civil society is organized on the basis of individuals' material needs, which are not wholly private and yet are primarily self regarding. It is less selfish than the family. It is saved from disintegration because men begin to realize that their needs can be met only by recognizing the claims of others. Civil society educates the individual where he begins to see that he can get what he needs only by willing what others individual need. It is not a complete organic unity. Such unity is realized only when the tension involved in the contradiction between family and civil society is transcended in the final synthesis of the state. The civil society looks after the material needs of human beings and therefore Hegel sees it as a state in its embryonic form. The state looks after the universal interest of the whole community and it acquires an organic character. By way of summing up this complex Hegelian theory of state, we may say that first it has divine origin because the state is divinely ordained growth of absolute idea or reason. There can be no spiritual evolution beyond the state as there can be no physical evolution beyond man. It is the march of God on earth. Secondly, Hegel is statist because the state in his philosophy is not a means to an end, but an end in itself. The state does not exist for the individuals, but the individual exists for the state. Thirdly, for Hegel, the whole state is greater than the parts or individual that constitute it. Their or individuals' importance is only due to the fact they are members of the state. Thus, Hegel makes the individuals totally subordinate to the state. Only the state knows what is in individuals' interest. State in that sense is infallible. It is also infallible because it is divine. Hegel argued that all the worth which the human being possesses, all spirituality, reality, he possesses only through the state. For his spiritual reality consists in this that his own essence, reason, is objectively present to him, that it possesses objective immediate existence for him. The state is the divine idea as it exists on earth. Here we want to wind up this lecture. Thank you so much for your attention.